Greg's kind of stole my thunder. I was going to introduce ourselves, but what I'll do is I'll apologise to our interpreter. You've got a Scottish person, someone from the north of England, and an Irish person she has to try and understand. And that does sound a bit of a joke, doesn't it? Scottish, English and Irish all up on one stage. I've had the pleasure of working with Christine and Ryan, delivering the WFM optimisation consultancy work that we do at Savio. So I'm not going to steal any more thunder from the guys, and I'll probably pop in with some questions in amongst all the great work these guys have done.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Scott. My name's Ryan. We work for Flutter, and in specific, Flutter UKI. So in terms of who is Flutter, for those that haven't heard of Flutter, you'll have definitely heard of some of our brands. We are the world's largest sports bet and online gaming company in the world, and some of our leading brands are FanDuel over in America. We've got Sportsbet over in Australia, PokerStars, which a lot of people around the world play poker, and then in specific, in mine and Christine's area, we look at UKI, which is predominantly Sky Bet, Paddy Power, Betfair. We also have other brands like Tombola within our midst as well. So in terms of Flutter as a whole, like just to kind of go back into a few points in terms of the scale. In terms of last year, it was 14 billion revenue made last year, and in terms of some of the kind of the monthly active players that we have is just under 14 million. So it's massive in terms of the scale, and then how we then come to plan for these as well. So in terms of Flutter UKI, the main three brands, Sky Bet, which has been a massive kind of brand in terms of football. We sponsor the football league, so from Championship all the way down. We've got a massive following in terms of kind of football, but also we tend to go into to the other sports as well. Paddy Power, which is massive in terms of darts. If anybody went to the World Darts Championship this year, I was privileged enough to get myself there to see the 9-darter from Damon Heta. And then Betfair, which is predominantly kind of horse racing and the exchange. Just a little bit of interactivity, just because this is the kind of person I am. If you can give me your left hand, if anybody has ever played online gaming or if you've made a bet in your lifetime. I have. And let's keep his hands up if anybody has got a safer gambling tool on there, for example, like a deposit limit. Okay, a few hands went down. So in terms of the gambling industry, we're massive in terms of safer gambling. So a lot of our adverts now are kind of tailored towards safer gambling, especially with those deposit limits. Okay, so in terms of UKI, going into a bit of what actually makes us, so because it's a sporting predominantly company, we're massive in terms of all the leading sporting events. So we've got Cheltenham, which is a massive horse racing event in March. It always goes over my birthday, so I can never have my birthday off. We've got Aintree at the Grand National. We've got the football season, which starts normally in August, but some years it kind of changes to the end of July, and other world events as well, which impact other brands. In terms of our actual operation that we plan for, we're spaced across four locations in terms of our staff. That's in Leeds. We've got Malta, we've got Dublin, and recently we've moved out to Hyderabad. That comes with a lot of challenges, obviously different time zones, different cultures, different holidays, bank holidays, etc. Definitely some challenges within there. In terms of the contact channels as well, similar to the BA speaker this morning, we've got multi-channels that we go through. So live chat is our biggest driver. So it was surprising to us this morning in terms of that, those numbers in terms of voice, because ours is massive in terms of live chat.
It's about 80% of all of our contacts go through live chat, so it's huge. Yeah, we switched off voice 4 years ago, made the decision to switch it off over a festival, and it just worked so well, we've stuck with it. So 80% of all of our contacts at the moment go through live chat.
Yeah, definitely customer behaviour driven that as well. We still have kind of inbound and outbound phone lines, mainly for the safer gambling area. We've got social media and verification documents and emails. So a wide range of contact channels and methods of our customers contacting us. In terms of the actual departments that we look after, that we resource for, it's not just customer service, even though customer service is our biggest customer. We're massive in safer gambling as well. We've got trading and international. So the variance in work types and the actual, it really kind of spans in terms of what our requirements are for each individual areas. And even though we are driven by sporting events, there's also nuances in terms of what then drives certain contacts and certain behaviours, if that's before, during or after a sporting event. So lots to deal with, but yeah, we love it. Okay, so in terms of some of our challenges, to say it's spiky would be an understatement. We have intervals that really kind of keep us on our toes. These are, majority of the time, would be unplanned. So for a typical example, if Kevin De Bruyne takes a corner and he's that good that it goes in, depending on the rules, that's either classed as a shot on target or a goal, etc. So in terms of like the T's and C's, very, very kind of close. We've got a lot of rule fours, so in terms of horse racing, for those horse racing bettors out there, it is a rule 4 which then drives down the price. Usually there's a spike in contact because of the customer kind of understanding of those. Some of the actual graphs on here just show like the volatility of that kind of contact demand. This is mainly looking at live chat and inbound calls. Some of the, like a betting instance would be like a typical, like if that's an evening game where one of the results just doesn't go right. Usually it's kind of Opta stats which we use. A promotional issue, if we've gone out for a promotion, it's really taken off, it's been shared on social media. We get masses of spikes in terms of those drivers. How we resource to that is a very big challenge for us, and part of why we're here is the kind of transition of where we were into kind of where we are now. So another challenge. So they were kind of unplanned spikes. When we know there's going to be a spike, so some of these really peak events, Cheltenham being kind of our biggest spike of the year. You can see the kind of variance in terms of like the weekly amounts. We double, triple, quadruple contacts, and it's very specific kind of intervals. So it's before the race comes off, during kind of Gold Cup. There's masses of variance, which sometimes we know it's going to happen, sometimes it kind of catches us unaware, and how we deal with that is the important bit. Verint, we've moved on to Verint. I'm not going to steal the next slide, but Verint's been an absolute godsend in terms of where Sky Betting was, which is predominantly where I come from, and basically the innovations that we can do, especially with forecasting. These spikes are sometimes crazy, and to be able to forecast that with ease, with agility, time saved, just makes our jobs a lot easier.
So Just give some background. In Paddy Power Betfair, before the merger happened with Sky Bet, Paddy Power Betfair were already on Verint, which is predominantly my background. Then obviously Sky Bet came in, they were in Aspect. I obviously love Verint. Anyone that knows me will know how much I love Verint, so I knew that that was the right avenue to bring Sky Bet across and be able to utilise that system the way we already were in Paddy Power Betfair, and it's been phenomenal. And in hindsight, that's probably thanks to Sabio. We've done this transition in the middle of our festival season. So like Q1 is not a season you mess with for us because it has Cheltenham and Aintree back to back. So obviously we were a bit nervous about doing such a big transition in the middle of our festival period. But Sabio, it was just seamless. It was 2 days. We got 400 people across. They had down to the level of detail of the historical stuff that they were able to bring across for us. Like we were just able to hit the floor running very quickly. Which I was really nervous about, obviously given like you don't want to make a mistake in the busiest week of your year, your whole year. The busiest 2 weeks of your whole year is not the time for us to have downtime or making errors, and it was just seamless how we actually were able to transfer from Aspect into Verint.
And I think probably the key to that was the approach. So we very much embedded ourselves within the operation. Yeah. We very much kind of tailored all of our approaches because the guys know their stuff. They're really talented planners. The processes and protocols were limited by the technology, so we wanted to make sure we weren't going to detract from that, particularly during a migration. We wanted to make sure we were going to enhance that. So the training we delivered in 3 or 4 different ways, depending on the kind of group of who we had. We then started leveraging kind of technology which is within the tool but doesn't tend to get leveraged. So we were leveraging adapters, we were getting more regular reporting out the back, just little changes to just make the guys' lives easier to then create the bandwidth within the planning function to actually go and do the value add from an operational standpoint, rather than getting bogged down in all of the general admin, especially at the kind of scale and flexibility which the guys operate with, which we'll touch on in a little second. Flutter are a very kind of colleague-centric, progressive organisation with some unusual policies around holidays and things. So we wanted to make sure that we were enhancing that all the way through, and we built that very close relationship with the guys. And again, we're continually looking to innovate where we possibly can, again, to remove some of the kind of headaches and enable the guys to do their jobs better.
Yeah, and initially, even when Sabio came in initially, like, because obviously before we just went, we're going to move from Aspect to Verint, the guys really helped us as well to go out into the market and go, is Verint really the right tool for us? And they've done that like really well for us. And then on top of that, they also went and looked at everything we're doing in Verint to say, actually, how much of the system are you using, how well are you using it? Like, so to be able to get that insight for Sabio was huge as well, because we realised, yeah, we were utilising the tool as well as we could, but there was definitely bits that we weren't using, and Sabio have been great in terms of teaching us what we're missing out on in Verint and scaling us to that level.
Some of the key benefits that we saw, especially when Sabio was training me and my team over from Sky Bet from Alvaria, it used to be called Aspect. Onto Verint. That seamless transition, it was literally 2 days where we got literally all of the relevant data moved across, transported, embedded, and yeah, it was pain free, which was amazing for us. It then allowed us to really kind of go out and do the training, really kind of dig deep into it. There was a lot of similarities, but because my team were very experienced, we kind of knew exactly what we wanted to see, and you tailored that training to our needs, which really kind of really good feedback.
The next slide.
Yeah.
So this is some of the kind of benefits, and I won't go through all of them, but these are just the kind of tangible benefits for stage 1. These are the things that we are. There was just that's what we pretty much landed kind of day 2. It was all of these kind of benefits that started to come across. Attrition took it over a little bit longer to kind of realise and understand, and the Peakon scores only go out every so often. So understanding what the value add that we actually delivered. Yeah,
and the big one here for us was obviously like forecast variance coming from 10 to 5 might not sound like a huge jump, but when you think of a festival period for us, that 5% could mean up to 30 FTE depending on what channel you're talking about. So that's a huge for us. And actually last month the guys finished at a 2% variance across all the brands. And that's being able to use Verint in the way that Sabio have trained the guys who move away from Excel-based forecasting and really utilise that tool in terms of like marking them spikes, being able to pick and build your sporting events within Verint and not have to depend on an Excel. to do it. And the guys have been absolutely brilliant in showing us and teaching us how to utilise the system to the best ability to be able to get to that variance, because that's huge for us when you're talking about 70, 80,000 contacts in a week. Like Grand National Saturday, we could have 2,000 conversations in a queue in one instance. It's huge volumes, like. So to get that forecast down was a massive step. Additionally, Savio done a huge amount of work with us. We weren't utilising the agent performance dashboard with Invariant. They've done massive work for us to get that up and running. That's now the one-stop shop for all our team leaders to do with anything around agent performance. Every KPI that our agents are bonused on, they obviously get quarterly bonuses. Every single KPI is built now into that agent dashboard. The agent can see it live. Team leaders are using it live. And like Savio done massive work to get that up and running. And it's like, it's just brilliant because now we're also using that and we've saw a reduction of about 10% in lost hours. So in terms of lost hours, what I'm talking about here is we have agents that would potentially take 5 chats at once. There's longer wrap-up time, so we've saw the wrap-up reduce. We have saw like alignment to breaks increase, so your adherence move. Like it's been huge, that agent dashboard going live. It's been massive for us.
I think one of the things that was unusual at Flutter is a policy of uncapped leave. So as you can imagine, as a planner, you want a budget, you want set numbers, you want to do that. It then becomes difficult as to how you manage that and how you to utilise the system when essentially technically people can take as much annual leave as possible. So
and it was great from our perspective, but when they said they were going to roll out uncapped leave to your agent pool, you're kind of like, how the hell are we going to manage this? Like, but you know, the guys again showed us the way we could do that with Invariant, utilising the system with his best knowledge, and all the agents right now are on uncapped annual leave. And no, we aren't missing service levels. The agents don't take the P with it. It's actually really well organised and well run. And it is a very unusual benefit. I don't think there's a lot of companies out there that definitely give agents uncapped leave. So it's a huge benefit for us, and how we manage that and the flexibility of being able to do it in Invariant, and what the guys have showed us around what we were missing in the system to managing that kind of stuff is where we've been winning with it.
Yeah, and the approach we did was very much that kind of one team. So we weren't coming in just to tell, this is how you do it. You kind of, what you maybe class as your historic tech deployment. We come in, we implement it per the FDS, functional design spec. We implement it, we train it, and then we leave. We've not done that. We went, okay, how do we design this and be innovative right from the start? How do we build kind of like near enough like societal pillars all the way through that we always arc back to whenever we're trying to make a decision? So is it in the best interest of the agent? Is it in the best interest of planning? Who's actually going to get the benefit of this? And if we can't answer those questions, is it the right thing to do? So we wanted to make sure that we were putting the end agent and the customer central to anything we were actually doing in order to try these benefits.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like, for me, when we look into the future, like, there's been a lot of talk about AI today, right? And like in our business, for Paddy Power, we probably are containing about 80% of all of our chats fully contained within the bot at the minute. So for us to be in that forward-footing AI world that we're in, to be not using it in our workforce management, feels like I'm about 5 years behind. So like I'm really looking forward to working with Savio and seeing what we can do to get us to have that AI built in with our WFM technology, and look at where we can take that. Again, we are ever-growing company. We've just recently got another 2 acquisitions under our belt, Bet Nacional in Brazil, the Italian lottery. It's constantly growing. It never stops. So what I'm trying to do at the minute is ensure that what we're doing as a UKI WFM team is that we're setting out that blueprint for other WFM teams as they come in under Flutter, and making sure that we have a system that is scalable, that we've set it up right, that we can easily bring in other brands, other locations seamlessly through that journey. Because in Flutter, it is so fast-paced, it is so constantly changing. Locations, hierarchies, everything. We just need that scalable system. And Savio, of when they brought Skybet in, they really set that properly up from the ground so that we weren't having to double down when we want to bring in another brand. We just slot them straight into Variant. It's been brilliant. Other stuff, obviously, I've talked about the self-serve piece, and then obviously we are not brilliant at WFM. We definitely have inefficiencies, I think, and that's where we're going to lean on Savio to really get back in, come on side, dig deep into like where we're going wrong, why is it taking us so long to do certain things, and where we can clean them processes up. And that's what Savio and Scott in Pacific really excel in, looking at what you were doing and how they can speed it up, how they can make it more efficient.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it there. Your world is never stops.
Never stops.
And that's the kind of approach we've taken, is that we never stop. to quote an ex-Celtic manager, Ange Postecoglou. But we also never stop, and we keep having these conversations. What do we want to do? And having challenges backwards and forth. Why are you not using that part of the functionality? How can we embed it? And the guys are then coming with problems to go, we think it should be able to do this. How do we do that? So we're doing that continual innovation all the way through.
Final note from me, a big thank you to our translator, obviously Scottish, Irish and English.
Yes.
Amazing job. I could see you going. So yeah, fantastic.